Alright, so next match we have Doryan using Gear Chronicles against the Link Jokers from last game. Doryan rode before drawing. Shouldn't do that. But mistakes do happen. At least he got to grade 1. And hopefully he knows that there's double mulligan. Okay, he's got a grade 2. As long as he has a grade 3 in hand, he's fine. So MisteR with a grade 2 rush. He accidentally drew instead of damage checking. Misclick of the mouse. They happen a lot, actually. MisteR got a draw trigger and drew from it. And that wasn't enough to guard if it was just the 10k. And Doryan decides to not guard. So Doryan rides grade 2. Steam Knight Puzzle Eerie. In the Vanguard, rear guard is Amber. So if Doryan can do a stride, Amber's skill would be active. If it's boosted, Counterblast 1 to send a unit to the bottom of the deck. Imaginary Plane in the Vanguard once again. And the 9k rear guards can hit. And that's another draw trigger. And Pixie Power, which I think is a critical. No, it's another draw. Doryan has allowed himself to get to 5 damage already. Either his hand was really bad or he has a plan. Technically, he could Mystery Flare. And he does. He's going for it. This would definitely be a way for Doryan to mount a comeback if it works. Mystery Flare Dragon's skill. When its attack hits, you can counterblast 4. First you can look at the top 4 cards of your deck. If you get a 0, a 1, a 2, and a 3, out of the 4, they have to be those 4 units. But if you can do that, you can counterblast 4 and you essentially skip your opponent's turn. But since it's not hitting, it's not going to be done anyway. That heal trigger is good for Doryan. He returns a unit to the bottom and attacks the Vanguard, which is not guarded. And his opponent doesn't have 4 in the drop zone, actually. So Doryan's at a point where he's actually mounting a comeback. That was a 2 to pass. First check is Garnet Star and Pixie Powder. What the hell is Pixie Powder? Is that the heal? Actually, yes, that is the heal. Which is why it's not doing anything, because Doryan's consistently had more damage, so heals are kind of taken away from him at this point. Mystery Flare didn't work. Is he going to try again, or does he have the ability to try again, I should say? Nope, he brings out Lost Age Dragon. So Counterblast 1 to put 1 at the bottom due to Chrono Jet's skill. Doryan, if I was him, I'd call at least 1 rear guard for the front row. And it's Amber. Also Twin Mazer, which is a 12k attacker if it attacks the Vanguard. He's starting by returning the last unit on the field to the bottom of the deck, so intercepts are not an issue. That's Pixie. No guard from to the Vanguard, and Doryan gets a critical. 1 more could end it. Gets a heal trigger. And a draw trigger. Really good triple check for Doryan. No triggers on MisteR's side, so he had to drop 2 10Ks just to block that. But now we get to see his Legion. Imaginary Plane Dragon. And he only gets 2 locks now. Decides to lock both the front row to make sure that Doryan only has 1 attack next turn. Decides not to use any other units from his hand. So Doryan no passes. And no triggers appear at all. Now, even though Doryan only gets 1 attack, he can actually make it a very powerful attack. Through Stride, which is what he's doing. I think he's discarded Steam Breath Dragon for his Stride every turn. And not a grade 3. Kind of interesting. So now with the ability, I have no idea why he just counterblasted 2. I have no idea why he just counterblasted 2. First check is a perfect guard. Second and third is another perfect guard. So he locks the front row again. And now Lanthanum gets 4,000 power for it. So it's an 11,000 power unit. Perfect guard in the twin drive check. Doryan takes 1 damage and 10k guards the second. He hasn't drawn for us. There it is. So let's see. Doryan knows he has a perfect guard in hand. So using Ragnarok now wouldn't be the best idea. Oh no, instead he's gonna attack with Chrono Jet. It gains 5,000 power and the opponent can only guard with grade 0. Which means the perfect guard actually doesn't come into play at all. And MisteR has to no guard it. And a heal trigger appears. That was a really well-timed skill on Doryan's part, and he won for it. Good games. Moving on to the next one. Well, before that, he's showing his hand. Oh, he had 2 perfect guards ready. But Doryan deciding to attack with Chrono Jet made it so he couldn't use them. He only had a draw trigger as far as grade 0s were concerned, so he didn't have enough to guard. Just because Doryan did that. Good decision. And good game.